On the 20th of November, the Supreme Court accepted the recommendations of the Union Environment Ministry panel on the definition of Aravalli Hills, ostensibly to restrict mining. That means any landform that is at an elevation of 100 meters or more above the local relief will be considered as part of Aravalli Hills along with its slopes and adjacent land. What the panel did not mention is that by this definition, more than 90% of the Aravalli Hills will not be counted as Aravalli anymore and be potentially open to mining and construction with severe environmental ramifications, including the quality of air in the National Capital Region. This is because, as per an internal assessment by the Forest Survey of India, that's the FSI, reviewed by the Indian Express, barely 1,048 or just 8.7% of 12,081 Aravalli Hills, 20 meters or higher, spread across 15 districts in Rajasthan, are 100 meters or more in height. The 20-meter height cutoff is crucial for a hill's function as a wind barrier. Aravalli extends from Delhi in the north to Gujarat in the west through the Haryana and Rajasthan. Rajasthan accounts for nearly 2/3 of the mountain range. For decades, the hills have been under severe pressure from mining, both legal and illegal, and other development activities such as construction. So what has the Supreme Court decided? The three-judge bench that was led by the then Chief Justice of India, B.R. Gavai, however, barred grant of the new mining leases. The bench also made it clear that mining activities would still be prohibited in protected areas, including wildlife sanctuaries, tiger corridors, and economically sensitive zones. The lone exception would be made in cases of critical strategic and atomic minerals. Last year, the Apex Court had asked the government to come up with a uniform definition of the Aravalli. While the FSI had been using a 3-degree slope yardstick to define Aravalli Hills since 2010, a technical committee formed for the purpose in 2024 modified the benchmark and proposed to identify as Aravalli Hills any landform with a slope of at least 4.57 degrees and a height of at least 30 meters. These yardsticks would effectively cover up to 40% of the Aravallis. As per the database by Land Conflict Watch, on the 20th of July 2023, the Haryana Forest Department issued a notification to bring 506 acres of the Aravalis in the Rajawas village under the Forest Conservation Act. This move was part of the Greater Nicobar swap aimed at compensating for the loss of 1 million trees in the Great Nicobar by conserving and reviving the Aravalli Hills, especially from the Khasara numbers 91 to 124. Ironically, on the same day, the State Mining Department e-auctioned 119.5 acres of this very area for mining, granting a 10-year lease, raising serious questions about the region's protection and swap's effectiveness. The residents of Rajawas village meanwhile protested in large numbers against the auctioning of the Aravalli land for mining activities. The residents claimed that mining practices would impact the hills and affect the groundwater in the entire region. Despite notices issued by the National Green Tribunal, better known as the NGT, in October last year to various authorities regarding the auction of the protected Aravalli land for mining in Mahendragarh's Rajawas, the official process to lease the land has not been halted. According to a letter from the DG Mining, meetings addressing mining activities in the Rajawas were held under the leadership of Additional Chief Secretary of Environment, Forest and Wildlife Department on the 26th of July and the 28th of August 2024. The National Green Tribunal has taken suo motu cognizance of the news report regarding the auction of a portion of the Aravalli forest land in Rajawas, Haryana for mining purposes shortly after its declaration as a protected forest. A staggering 98.87 lakh tons of minerals were illegally mined over 5 years in 5 districts of Rajasthan, according to the latest CAG report. The report exposes widespread unlawful mining in the state, including blatant violations of Supreme Court orders aimed at protecting the Aravalli Hills. Yet, the ministry prescribed the 100-meter definition to the Supreme Court in an unsigned report as part of its affidavit. It also conflated slope and height parameters to justify the new definition, proposed subjective height references that experts red flag may lead to exclusion even of many hills 100 meters or higher. The FSI cautioned that the 100-meter cutoff would protect only a few guard posts while surrendering the fences below. Loss of lower hills is likely to expose vast areas of sand and dust particles to blowing from the Thar Desert to Indo-Gangetic plains and endanger the livelihood of farmers and health of people, including those living in the Delhi NCR. This is said by the Environment Ministry official on the condition of anonymity. Slope dilution. The ministry told the Supreme Court that in 12 of 34 Aravalli districts, the average slope was under 3 degrees, suggesting they shouldn't be classified as Aravalli Hills under the FSI formula. But this ignores that most of these districts are plains, so the district-wide average naturally underestimates the slope of actual hilly areas. Coming on to the height distortion, the ministry defended its 100-meter cutoff, saying that no Aravalli district falls below this average ground elevation, but district averages are measured above sea level while hills are measured relative to surrounding land, making many genuine hills like a 190-meter hill on 100-meter plains effectively invisible under this definition. Moving on to the excluded area, several districts with known Aravalli presence were left out, including the Chittorgarh, which is a UNESCO fort site, and the Savai Madhopur, which is home to Ranthambore Tiger Reserve, despite their clear hilly features. The affidavit also noted wide variation in slope and elevation within the Aravallis, warning that relying solely on these two parameters could cause inclusion errors. Despite the Supreme Court orders and strict regulations, why does illegal mining continue to ravage the Aravalli Hills? With millions of tons of minerals extracted unlawfully, the state's enforcement appears weak, putting the region's forests, wildlife, and future at major risk.